The classified secret you've been sworn to protect is not merely a matter of national security, but a mirror reflecting the moral compromise required to maintain it. And true integrity requires not guarding the lie, but risking everything to expose the truth when silence becomes complicity. In Unauthorized Disclosure, Ross Carson delivers a political thriller that transforms the whistleblower trope into a searing exploration of institutional betrayal and ethical sovereignty, proving that in systems built on secrecy, justice isn't found in obedience, it's forged in the radical act of speaking when every protocol demands ye remain silent. This isn't merely another espionage tale with coded messages. It's a psychologically precise narrative where every redacted line feels like both shield and indictment. Consent to disclose is negotiated through conscience rather than clearance, and liberation means honoring your humanity when the machine demands you become a cog. From the first sterile office narration, listeners are immersed in a world where information is weaponized and presence is the only unredactable evidence. Perfect for fans of morally complex political suspense and stories where individual courage defies systemic corruption. This audiobook serves up atmospheric tension, relentless emotional honesty, and a protagonist whose journey from loyal analyst to sovereign truth-teller resonates with anyone who's ever been told their ethics were a liability. When intelligence analyst Ilara Vance discovers discrepancies in a high-priority surveillance report, she expects bureaucratic correction, not to realize the falsified data mirrors the exact pattern of erasure used to justify illegal operations. And her supervisor, Julian Thorne's quiet hesitation reveals he's been carrying the same suppressed doubt she spent years editing out of professional compliance. But as they navigate internal investigations and buried loyalties, Ilara understands this disclosure isn't about exposure, it's about integration. Carson masterfully avoids reducing Ilara to naive idealist or Julian to corrupt gatekeeper. Instead, he crafts a narrative where whistleblowing becomes forensic anthropology of power, where consent is renegotiated through acknowledgement of complicity rather than assumed innocence, and where freedom requires seeing the architecture of deception before it consumes you. The audiobook narration amplifies this psychological vertigo, capturing Ilara's disciplined focus fracturing into fierce clarity, while secondary voices shift subtly between performative loyalty and hidden agenda, making every briefing feel like both collaboration and cross-examination. You don't just hear the leak unfold, you feel the seismic shift of two professionals learning that some truths can only be spoken when you stop trusting the chain of command. What elevates Unauthorized Disclosure beyond typical political thrillers is its nuanced portrayal of institutional secrecy as inherited trauma rather than neutral procedure. Ilara isn't merely exposing wrongdoing, she's confronting how intelligence culture taught her to equate worth with discretion, challenging the notion that safety requires moral detachment. Julian doesn't protect her through obstruction. He creates space where her ethical compass can lead without diminishment, honoring her autonomy even as his own career crumbles. Their relationship evolves through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silences during secure communications that bypass performance, establishing protocols that protect both operational integrity and psychological safety, and defending each other from superiors who mistake conscience for insubordination. Supporting characters add vital texture, fellow analysts whose loyalty encodes suppressed shame, oversight officials whose concern carries intergenerational weight, even the agency itself, rendered as living archive whose server rooms absorb decades of unspoken bargains. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In systems built on erasure, attention is insurgency, and presence is the only reliable source. Even the thriller mechanics serve thematic depth, with document trails mirroring emotional attunement and clearance levels becoming metaphors for earned trust. For audiobook listeners, this production is an immersive sensory descent into institutional claustrophobia. The narrator embodies Ilara and Julian with remarkable distinction. Ilara's voice carries crisp intelligence laced with dawning defiance, while Julian's low timbre trembles with suppressed conviction beneath disciplined cadence, making their chemistry palpable even during conflict. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming immersion. Distant keyboard clicks marking temporal rhythm, rain against tinted windows during vulnerable confessions, the hushed hum of servers syncing with breath during moments of revelation, all anchor existential stakes in tangible reality. Pacing mirrors the cadence of bureaucratic reckoning, deliberate during evidence collection and reflection, then surging with urgency as external pressures collide with internal awakening. Whether you're commuting through stable landscapes or sitting in twilight solitude, the audiobook creates a portable pressure chamber where isolation feels absolute and agency feels a lifeline. It's storytelling as embodied validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a journey where justice isn't found in leaks, but in restoration. Ultimately, Unauthorized Disclosure redefines the political thriller by centering female epistemology within institutional frameworks. It satisfies genre cravings for fair play clues and cathartic resolution, while delivering substantive commentary on government accountability, masculine vulnerability, and the radical act of trusting embodied knowledge when systems demand conformity. No prior series knowledge is needed. It stands confidently as a complete emotional odyssey. If you've ever wondered whether loyalty can coexist with truth, or if true strength requires breaking the oaths that claim to bind you, this audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful act is simply refusing to be silent. Press play, open the file, and prepare to believe that even in landscapes shaped by secrecy, hearts still find ways to speak. Your next favorite thriller isn't waiting in perfect cover-ups, it's waiting in the brave, trembling choice to honor the whole truth.